trong sẽ đợi dọc and the paisa yep real yeah dọc chike yeah but chike and the paisa 2006 2007 yeah chike yeah cho ra mong lần lần con được lỡ lò cho ra cái đi xuống được lỡ lò nhà là tụ phát tài nhà là tụ phát tài ra được cho lò rồi tụ tự nhà nó tụ tự xuống tụ xe rồi nhà là tép lâu xong rồi nhà nó tụ cứ tụ đá nó muốn tua lại tụ đá phát tài nhà là tụ muốn tua lại tụ phát tài ra được phải thầu công mua được tua lại thầu cái số tụ chỉ cho bay mình xin qua cho đó để tụ chỉ cho play nè 2083 à có mua được cho nên tua trong số ya phải ya tua là tua trong số và một thiên sen nó mất chỉ kinh tua thì chỉ kinh thả được là phải còn nhau chỉ kinh những tụ ra nhau sống đủ đua mình tua cho nó ta cũng sẽ ra phát tài nó chính gia nữa là muốn được tua bắt đầu nó người già rồi mình đủ tiền được thì tụ đá muốn được tua kia là thì tất cả nó đã tốn ra người tua là bắt ra cái chuyện này cái chuyện này thì cái在到你嘅，在到你ra mong phải到mua cho nên phát tài nó tua ya phải tua những cái phải đa cái rất là đều phải tua chỉ cho nó cũng tua số giờ thì ya ai thâu chỉ cho nó cũng được phải một điều nó tua đó mà lấy sang đâu ra đó phải một tua xa lăng xong rồi thâu cho thâu những tua nhiều cái ya tua nhiều cái là có tua gia thì như xa lăng xong vì có chỉ peerless mình tôi mong thay có tôi trộn vào một tua thì ya người bảo được phải có yo nè bà yo nè tua here nè yo nè tua cái son nè phải tuần đầu nó ít bao nhiêu đây the generation the 13th or 9th generation have pamoto tokia the 9th generation I murdered the double wand wielder's sons too yeah that's true I caught them there I murdered them too and not fond women yeah those are super fast gods and it was 7 million years, yep. 5 sided stars defeated in Malaysia sector. That's true, yep. Malaysia junkyard country. One of the orb countries, and right there, Pi. You hated them, yeah, you hated them, yep. Cho nên ra cho chỉ kinh là tua lên đó luôn để tới chờ nhà là đó. Thôi đó phát trâu là một chỉ kinh tới giờ là tu sửa nhon nữa, tu sửa nữa, đó blow some more tia, yeah, tu ra để tu lần phải nữa. Nè, yêu chỉ câu kia là to, yêu lên đây là tới chỉ số là mất tua kia là thì sáu mũi rồi sáu mù rồi, có này khó sợ kia ta có mà là tua ta, lấy cho phát tài đã thay tua ta, lấy tu ra khám mình đi là cái tua kia, and right there phải ta có mà tua kia ra, nè ta thì bao được cái chẳng được thì hay xuân trái cơ xuân, chúa gì, ai thông được chúa nói là, thầu có yên qua chủ ta phải, có này khó ra về nhà là đây nè. They just说呢，嗰度多了，那都做人自包括么那种的 secret cheese，一个呢 demon children，那这等于做了是国菜，还把那也里拍啊，那就等于做事，也等于做事，你不能自己么是个包，那是车那路多拍，一不能从那多，they就说呢，我们俺们呢，搞安路拍是做的，拍那个也俺的。Muốn hay nên tôi trong số hiệp và một tôi trong số phải ra khai cơ mà ít big fake here you big fake China yeah I saw your heroes demonic in his DNA like the secret chief's plastic DNA in the eye retinas he burned you with the UFO pie you paste back together in 12 days yeah that's true Pi flew out of there and then Pi told you God DNA woman you can do that You can even open portals because that metal device is in the Earth's core was designed by African sun god, but all real human gods were registered back then, and Pi can utilize that. Pi can use that too. That's why. And her's a fool. Her's not a real human god DNA. Pi, you murdered off the chink, the false one, and the 2 others came out, and then you kept murdering them. Pi, yeah, that's true. And right there, Pi, it was 4 months war. Yeah, so they uploaded. You'll see that on the news, Pi. Up. It is 2,800. Yeah, right around there. It's really about 2,004. 2,400. Exactly. That was after the wars with China. China is depleted in population. And then 2,400, he shows up, and then you kept fighting him. Pi, real. Pi, not age. And Pi, he's right there. You kept gutting him in broad daylight, and he went back inside of the saucer, and then you kept waiting. He came back out with he beamed laser guns He beamed UFO guns and you survived, and then right there, yep, your night ended him. 2 hours, your night fly towards the saucer explodes. I am, that's true. And look at that, I told him the truth. In life, demonic, human, false, Yaku. We know you is not a human god. Yeah, that's real, that's real. Pi laughed so hard, Pi said, you don't think that Pi can open those European portals? Pi do, yeah, Pi do. Pi did it right in front of him, yeah, right in front of Pi's people, and Pi wrote, do me go in there and appear over there? No. Me toss a bunch of metal inside of there, and it came out over there, all fluids. And so Pi not use, yeah, that's true. The dick didn't believe you, Pi. Passed away when you opened those sphere portals, and then he knew it. That's how it's done, yeah, that's how it's done. And then I told you, you is not any of the name. You is a human mammal. That's true, yeah, you is a human mammal. And he passed away, Pi, right there in his car. And Pi, he's at 2053. You fight all the way. Yeah, Pi fight all the way, that's true. Yeah, fuck you, lambs. Fuck you, rams. Pi murdered 2 fucking ram demons. Pi murdered even the grandpa. Yep, that's true. But the cool thing with European demons, they die straight. What I don't tell you, real woman. Yeah, real. Yep, Pi has saucers from the Gold Lake spirits. You can't beat Pi. Yeah, Pi is as powerful as the Goetic 19th demon. That's true, that's true. Pi lies to you. You know how many cellular areas in nucleus Pi jam and sealed away in 3D space? You can't render differently because you'll die. Yeah, you'll die. Yeah, you'll die. Right when Pi do that to your skin cell DNA, and then right there Pi cut you open. Yeah, that's true. In 3 hours, look at him, his face, Pi. Dying right there in the Middle East when you did it to his people too. Yeah, really, has me too. He says, I have never seen a God King telling me straightforward that he kills me. That's true, that's true. And then he says, Pi said, in China, they thought you was nice in 2,400. Look at what happened. There was barely any left, and then right there, Pi murdered the Vietnamese and the Cantonese. Pi murdered the Singapore, and now Pi murdered Singapore. Yeah, Pi murdered Singapore. That's real. As soon as you're done gutting those fucking chinks, Pi, you murdered the Singapore, and then 4 hours later, Pi kept murdering the fucking Vit and the fucking Thais, and then right there, the Cambodian was defeated twice. Them not there return. Yeah, that's true. Because them didn't want to fight Pi, but yep, them are forced to. And right afterwards, Pi, the kid dies right there in Magmar, Pi. And then the fucking kid cries, and then Pi murdered his people too, yep, for being a false god, yeah, lying to Pi. And then Pi said, 2083, it was her that cried in her car, Pi, yeah, fuck her too, yeah, rest in peace to you. And right there, Pi murdered the stupid fucking faggots. And then Pi, when you're done murdering them, Pi, I saw you take an African lizard alphabet, a beggar king alphabet, and Pi used it. Pi talked in the African king's old tongue. And then Pi told you that was his tongue. Yeah, y'all good. 2 hours Pi just like a daughter. Cái đó cho nên nó just alone cái đó mua cho tớ cái cờ cho cái cho tớ na cái đấy cho xiên để cho nó sĩ có một hai nó tụm lại cũng cái sĩ cái sĩ nó tụm lại đúng rồi cái sĩ hai cái hai lô đó nữa. Cho ra được kia ta Pi都做这些做这些都Pi问的盘主个呀盘主个。You told me Pi then I is the Pi more double J. And Pi, look at that. You took her soul and then her figure it out. Yeah, Pi hate her. Yeah, Pi hate her. You don't get it, woman. Pi vaporized you. Pi see your soul. Pi know everything you know. We have from human languages to what you were hiding inside. 3 hours, Pi. Look at that. He passed away fucking with you in the secret she told him. Real? Yeah, real. Pi did that to your fucking white beggar. Yep, immortal mage right there. Pi ended him in Minnesota. Pi took his spot. And then 2 others, Pi, you said, you spot them are murdered. Yeah, them are murdered, real. Yeah, y'all good. And Pi, you said, it was you kept gutting them in Florida. Yes, me, deal. Yes, it was me. Yes, me. He kept fucking challenging Hmong King of Terror. Yeah, Pi flew up to the skies and Pi shouted, yeah, right there. Pi not tell you, yeah, Pi fought them. Yeah, Pi fought them, real. He didn't believe you, Pi. He thought it was so funny. And then about 12 years, Pi, at 12 years, your skin DNA goes up. You're fasting like about 900 trillion times 4. Yeah, 4. About 85, and right there, Pi. Miles per hour. When you fought it, it not die. Pi, it flies off. But 12 minutes later, it knows, yep, you not love it. Yeah, that's true. And then later on, real, yeah, real. Oh, both of you pi one in the because those are enemy, yeah, enemy. And because pi is God, yeah, pi is God, pi know what is after Yalka. And look at what the fucking Ukraine said. We don't know God, those are the Ukraine demons. Yeah, I don't care. Pi murdered off the Ukraine too. Yeah, Pi kept a few of their demons. And then Pi's mad. Pi murdered them down to 28 population. And Pi leave they alone. That's true. The dumbass didn't believe you, Pi. He saw you do that. And then he cries. Pi, yeah, let him cry. Y'all good. Well, my DNA is the only DNA that's building space countries. I don't think I'm going to let you live. Yeah, y'all good. And then look at that, Pi. When you gut them, the lamb came out the head of a tiger, and you kept gutting him too. That's real, yep. Pi only kept 3 rare lambs, yep. That's true, head of the tiger. Dumbass didn't believe you. Pi didn't believe you. 2 hours later, he wasn't any of the 3, yep. Any of the 3, yep. And then there's a lot of mistake horns, yep, that Pi murdered off too. That's true. It was there in Malaysia, Pi. He says, how can you hate me? And Pi said, I hate you, yeah, because you left my skinny lecture. And that stupid white ghoul is too stupid to go get it back. And so Pi not say anything to her group yet. But Pa'll get there, yeah, Pa'll got you, yeah, Pa'll got you. Pa'll take back the technologies. He says, Pi said, when you're that smart, you know immediately why you didn't want to go near that person over there. Because they have a goetti demon. Pi will bring it on, yeah, bring it on. It is time for me to show you Peerless, yeah, Peerless Futon, right? In the old forms, the light ray melted the eyeballs and the brain tissue. Right there, Pi used it in a new form. It melts the skin and all that too, yeah. But it takes about a few hours, and then them dies as real, yeah, as real. And those areas are off limits to even Pi. For 900 trillion years, real, yeah, real. Right when Pi used it like that, he already took off. Several demons took off. Knew the name of it in God language. Yeah, y'all good. You know, with the type of plutonium weapons there, right there. He took off. He said, nope, Pi's right. Yeah, Pi's right. And then 4 hours later, told the kid, Middle East, Pi murdered them that way too. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Afterwards, you're all allowed to fly around and get sick and die. Yeah, that's real. 2 hours later, Pi did that to the Ukraine too. Yeah, that's right. Because, motherfucker, I caught you right there. You didn't give me anything. You wanted into my nation. No, now you die is real. How do it, Mali? The head real, yeah. And then Pi told you, life isn't fair. Pi did that to Chinese and Malaysia. Singapore lost 4 billion souls. Now, yeah, that's true. Their fucking cocky ass fucking wife, yeah, came back down and Pi gutted her. And then Pi told her real, yeah, me not want you. Yeah, me not want you. And Pi did it. After you cut up the king cobras in Southeast Asia in the Cambodian version, the hawks flew out. You murdered about 14,000 hawks, 9,000, yeah, 9,000 Thai hawks. And I'm looking for that other hawk who is a Vit, yeah, the Vit dragon hawks, the Vit cobra dragon hawks. And right there, when you gutted them by 2 hours, you spotted the one that assaulted King. Yeah, y'all good. The only foster parent father who spoke to you and came down, but was brutally murdered in the blue skies in Vietnam in 2006. Year real, he stood there in the blue sky for 4 hours, and their royal hawk shredded him and murdered him. 2007, he's a ghoul, and right there, you ended the Vit, and you ended that nation of gods. And he says, you said, if you're the evil one that attacked us in Ukraine, yes, it's me. I attacked you, and then I attacked those fuckers in Russia. Real, yeah, it is me. That is when he knew it, y'all good. I did that 7 times right there in Russia just to tell you Pi's not your human god. Pi hates you, DNA real. 2 hours later, the fucking kid didn't believe you, Pi. Yep, Po's been murdered, the other demon's been murdered. That's true, yep. Pi murdered them with the Peerless. And right there, he knew it. No joke. I told you, yeah, he took off. And Pai said, it was 5 fights. The fucking evil bastard in Lao has been defeated. I do see 2 lambs claim to be good, but lower your real lambs. Oh, Pi, yeah, 100% 2 hours later, Pi ended them. Yeah, that's real. Yeah, that's real. The dumbass didn't believe you, Pi. He didn't get it that those are lying to you, so you ended them and then you looted their technology and you're checking things out. Pi, yeah, 100% Women, you'll never find peerless nanos like that. That is made only one time. Yeah, that's true. Only a real God nation has plutonium that way. That's true. Yep, that kills even Africans on God. The dumbass didn't believe you, Pi. He says, if you're that violent, that's right. You've been extinct. Pi deleted you right there in America. That's right. Yeah, that's right. 2,400. There are no whites in America. That's true. We're blacks. Yeah, that's true. And then they didn't see all your Asians growing up right there. I saw 2 hours of you gutting that fucking other thing, and it took off in a saucer, and it knows you hate him. And the Pai said, liars are you. And then later on he says, how come you didn't fear any of those, Pai? Because them are nothing. Yeah, them are nothing. Yeah. And Pai said, he says, how come in the Middle East that white person says that you spared him? Fuck off. Yep, Pai murdered you. Yeah, Pai murdered you. That's 100%. Yeah, that's 100%. Pai murdered even that bitch on the broom. Real, yeah, real. You don't even see Paisan did that to you, and Paisan told you there's no God civilization for you afterwards. Because you're not Pai's people, and you're not God DNA, you're a goetic humanoid clone, Yalka. And then Pai told you nothing accurate, Yalka. Just that dude, the home I thought of in 2,400 Pai, he knew it. Afterwards, Pai didn't love them. Pai murdered them in 2 hours of you fighting. Pai said it was on the East Coast. The lamb came out and said, fair. He took off, and it was his idea. Pai chopped him over. Yeah, 100% video. And Pai used to go in both those. Yeah, and it was 9 hours. You flying faster than light. And I saw Pai. He didn't dare touch you. Yeah, he didn't dare touch you. Perfect. Pai will know. Yeah, Pai will know. Because when you're rendering faster than light, Pai flying in the skies, clothing, if it's shred, something hits you. Yeah, something hits you, Pai. Because Pai's eyes saw you flying and you're not naked, so nothing touched you. Good, yeah, nothing touched Pai. Yeah, that's right. Because if they did, the clothes would be missing. Yeah, the cloth would be missing. The kid didn't believe you, Pai. It was 9 hours. You ended him in Russia and you told him, yep, me an enemy God. Yeah, that's true. Just it. And then right there, Pai told you, never steal from me, they'll catch you. Yeah, they'll catch you. It was me who murdered off some 5-sided star right there in Malaysia country in outer space. Real, yeah, real 7 million year fight. Pai gutted him. And he was not full of it. He's not full of it. He's super fast. When you get his decks, Pai, you know immediately what broke crippled gods feel like, Yonka. They were never allowed to build any kind of space station, Pai. Yeah, that's true. Look at what happened, Pai. 5 hours later, it flies that way and it knew it, yeah. Patak mo na ko po. Katuwa on the diagram, yeah. Itu ram, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you slowed down Pai story. Pai murdered your fucking people in Ukraine in broad daylight for fun. Real. Yeah, yes, me too. When you did that, Pai, the fucking shit scream. Yeah, Pai pulled out green swords and Pai murdered them. And then Pai told you, I didn't murder you to the core, but I murdered you like that too. And then Pai told you, yep, several million gone. Yeah, that's true. And then right there, I told them real. Yeah, okay. I told them, what did Pai do? He knew it. Pai hated their gods and ancestry too. Yaka. I told Hmong Thailand, and look at that, Pai. In Burma, he says that is the king cobra. Pai wrote that's a vagina. Yeah, that's a vagina. Pai defeated him up there, and Pai told you, never lie to tinfoil's nothing. Yeah. And Pai just said, 2 hours, they brought him right back out and they chopped him up in Laos. Yeah, that's true. And Pai said, right after the wars, the fucking bitch didn't believe you, Pai. Thought it was fun fucking with you. Went to London and then were murdered. Pai, yeah, that's true. Yeah. If you're stupid enough to go to London, you're gonna get murdered by me. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. You'll get murdered by one of the Horn grandpa ancestors. Yeah, that's true. And you didn't believe Pai, Yalka. And Pai said it was the best fight in America. When you're done restoring your DNA, Pai, you fly around and then you saw what the other immortals said, that we not know which one took what from you, Pai. Pai wrote, they are fucking clones, them are clones, and them are enemy, and them are thou. And I don't care, because right there, when you're done cloning it back, it works, Pai. But you is not one happy god, Pai, Yalka. Because the skin DNA now, it takes several hours to heal and reformat and re-render the sticks and molecules and atoms, and it hurts like hell. That's true. Yep, right there, Pai is not happy, but that's Pai's wealth level, Yalka. And the kid didn't believe you, Pai. He says, how come, Pai, there's no complaint? Because that's the wealth level you begin with. Yeah, that's true. He is lying to you, Pai. when you're done upgrading your DNA, you found out it was him who slowed down your story, and then you beat him up. I had 100% video. 2 hours, Pi murdered some of the female ghouls, Pi chopped up in the belly, and then Pi kept chopping them up in Eau Claire, and right there, when you kept cutting her open, her was one of the evil spirits Pi didn't like, and it was 14 fights, Pi. And Pi, he says, how the hell can you fight faster in light, and then how the hell do we have any more friends? And then he says, Pi says, you don't need friends. Yeah, you don't even have me. Yep, you not have me. You keep fucking with my nation, I'll kill the president of America. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Pi flew to the White House, gutted him, and then flew back to Eau Claire. And then Pi flicked your fucking people off. Yep. I said, you're so stupid. You don't get it. I'm as deadly as five-sided star. I didn't want you up there. Yep. And then right there, I murdered off some of those lambs. And then I saw 2 hours, yep, Pi murdered off the Horn Grandpa, one of the Horn Grandpas, who thought it was fun picking on Pi and stealing Pi's resources and redistributing it to whites. And then Pi murdered off him, and then Pi left for Ukraine. Pi hovers faster than light to the Ukraine. Pi murdered them in broad daylight, how Pi did them in Russia and in Middle Israel. Pi kept assaulting them daily, just to tell them Pi hates you. Yep, that's how five-sided star and Pi do it, because technically, that's how children of God fights. Real, yeah, real. And the dumbass didn't believe your Pi. He thought it was fun until he realized that it's science, fact, and laws and norms. And right there, Pi, you kept murdering them. 3 hours. One of the grandpa came out and Pi flicked it off, and then Pi not respect it. Then Pi got it, and it was 9 hours, and Pi's probably another. Yeah, that's true. Biggest fight scene in the Middle East. Him didn't see Pi not go home. Pi kept chopping him up. 9 days in the Middle East. Pi, I saw 2 rakes appear, and then he pointed to that god over there. Yeah, fuck him too. Yeah, fuck him too. Yeah. And later on, Pi, you'll figure what borrowed devices was stupid symbol. Because when the mom came out of the saucer, Pi murdered her immediately in the Middle East. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Pi murdered her, and Pi said, thief, female, me Hmong, you is white. And then if you time travel some more, is you really Middle Eastern white? No. You was a white European. And so Pi ended you. That's true, yeah, that's true. And then that's Norm, yeah, it's Norm accurate. 3 hours normal, yeah, Pi's out of the Middle East after that. That's true, yeah, that's true. Kid, Pi didn't tell you those are technically stealing permits to come down here to arrive on planet Earth. Real, yeah, that's real. Right now they're running through a different surname, a different symbol, and then Pi's DNA is being used there too. That's why Pi's gutting them. That's true, yeah, that's true. Because now they'll blame Pi, yeah, for all those evil gods and rivals. Yeah, good. And you won, Pi, yeah, you won, Pi. 2 hours, like, when just the Permies didn't get it, Pi. Later on, you gutted them. Yeah, Pi gutted them, that's true. He says, how the hell do you think Pi feel? Pi cut open 12 of you, and then the fucking fake bitch came out of the sky, said, I'm Mom, and then Pi didn't care. Pi pulled out the green sword. Pi swung, and Pi said, I'm Va. The five-sided star god slayer. Him right there, Pi. Him knew it. Yeah, him knew it. 2 hours, his people passed away, and then 2 graphic gods came down and shouted, fair Va. Yeah, that's true. The dumbest is good. Pi, yeah, okay. And then 29, Pi, be on the lookout. He says, how come you didn't alter 2 areas of the brain, Pi? You said, there is a stupid fat bitch in the building. When you catch her, you need to beat her up. Pi, yeah, okay. And Pi, you said, and he didn't believe you, Pi. 228, did you see his people bleeding on the internet? He is a fucking vet. Yeah, yeah. When Pi school was curse you, yeah. Yeah, you'll see blood right there underneath the eyes and face. Real, yeah. Yep, right there in the eyebrow. Yeah, the eyebrow, yeah. So come on there, yeah. The hotchon, the room, pluga, yeah. The hotchaga, chalon the shilo, yeah. Chan the shilo. Paiจะได้มาดูฝนก็อยากก็จะได้เร่แค่ก็จะได้ส่งเราตึกในที่อ่ะฮะตึกรูปพลูเราลองชาลินเดียนตึกอ้อเขาเจอตึกเล่ามัวตึกเราลองได้เห็นตึกเขาบอกเห็นตึกเขาบอก yep, the eyeballs are dripping blood, and then the eyebrows. That's true. Yep, and then the nose here got bloody. Yeah, คนจะลองชาเห็นดีอ่ะ the both of those are pie sorcery, Vang sorcery, Vang spirits, pie gadanya from the pay. The pie. Nên là quá trai thua đó ya, có tụi nên cho mong thọ nó cũng mất tụ bỏ chơi gì, cũng mất tụ bỏ chơi gì. Nè tụi số thời gian mà đó là cả phải chỉ qua phải tụi vào số phải mất tụ bỏ chơi gì. Chỉ mong tụi phải chín châu cái tí phải chín châu kiểu cái phải mất tụ bỏ chơi. Thôi ya phải gì, đừng ta đi nó lại phải gì phải thua gì, phải nè cái kia cái tí bố đi ra nè, tên nó phải chủ phải để cho tôi gì đấy ya. Tụi mình mong thái nó mà tụi tiêu bắt đầu nó khá đâu có muốn tụi phát đi giáo sống lọ cái mà tụi chỉ tua này phải đi tụi tua tàn cho tụi cho một quả đây mua chỉ kinh nó ít tụi ra nhớ phải nhớ là tới chiều ra này học cái chỉ kinh thằng nó phải chỉ kinh đó để bên gì lo mà phải cũng người đó là cho chỉ kinh là cho đó phát trong nữa chỉ kinh là ya bên tu xe bên nhớ là tới bên nó mới chỉ kinh tua đó phát trong nữa đã nhớ là xuống nữa đã here nhớ là tụi phát đại ra nữa nó trong cuộc chuyện nữa bây lúc đó họ nữa tụi nó yêu tụi mua cái cho nên tụi chỉ kinh là tua này ya nó tua là nếu chỉ bảo là phải ở nếu sao thìวันnữa ta đâu có rằng nữa có muốn tua ya phải muốn tua nếu chỉ bảo phải họ cho nó 60,000 to 80,000 years of war. This fucking country learned Pi they lost everything in the sector, and that's true. Pi didn't care. Pi murdered all the fucking Sweden, Ukraine bitches that left their way to that sector. Pi murdered every fucking human god and goddess in that building, in that sector. That's real. It took Pi 80,000 years because they murdered one of my foster Asian dragon god father, real. He came down in 2006. He was in the blue skies of Vietnam for 4 hours. The Demi Warhogs from the King Cobra Vietnam Emperor did that to Pi. Pi defeated him, and then Pi made certain his extinct rate is real. Yeah, is real. When you destroyed their fucking civilization, Pi, 5 hours later, Ukraine thought Pi was funny. Pi kept murdering the lambs, and Pi shot only 3 lambs. Yaku. Yet there you'll have no country for me. Yep. And you'll figure that I will not build you any more star systems when I will murder your fucking human gods and goddesses payment. And then look at that, it takes off. Yeah, it takes off real, yeah, real. I don't care what generation of Satan Pi's real. Think I can. Just it, nu can't go do. But I nu both the guy to deal it, yeah. And you won, Pi. Yeah. And 229. They did learn something from you. Yep, you're good. And look at his face, Pi. People wrote Ning Hajona thought and she says more E high need the money to your yard ning to what they done. Yeah, y'all good. And then 29 Pi, 2 hours of you gutting a fucking sister. And then Pundatala. And she has no idea that them are not anything. Yeah, them are not anything. And Pai said, be careful with 3 dicks hiding in Malaysia. When you're done gutting those people, Pi, the fucking female appeared and then you gutted her and then her knew it. Yep, you not give a fuck. Yeah, Pi not give a fuck. Pi just one day, y'all good. Now there, Pi. Lúc tượng trái nữa, lúc tượng trái có nè, phải cho đá hình một xa chỗ tôi đã tôi giờ tôi nghĩ kêu nó ra phải đó phải chỉ cho bé nữa ya dọc cứ tờ bơ bên bỏ tế bé ya lo cho tới chuyện khai nếu hai đứa quay tiền nếu cái kê cho là hai lý do nó muốn là hai tua rất nhiều ya nếu sao tiền chơi nếu hai ninh cho bỏ tiền thì nó lành này chơi to nó cái sẽ nếu muốn là tua tàn thọ bên bỏ tế tua tàn bên thay tế tí plơn chỉ nếu chỉ to phải không vì cha xa chỗ tôi đã kia lúc lòng lộn nó tự lo đâu là chẳng ai nó lưng gầy nếu hai đứa quay thì phải nếu sẽ chính xác cái technology nó phải luôn nữa cái này phải áo xe tên này gọi lúc từ một chỗ một chỗ nè nhóc phải cho bây giờ cũng mà đang nghĩ nó một cái tua rất là thế cái này bỏ lia cái nhà là tua chống rồi thì phụ cho muộn bờ đó để mà lấy trả lương thì nó tới xí á từ phâu ở bên thay tụm nó này ăn thì nó tới xí á hai nên thì nó chuột phá tôi giờ chuột phá tôi ra mà lấy nó thì nó chỉ thế á phải giờ tôi khá nhiều nhiều tụm bờ tí chí phá tí chí đó là hai người phải đa có phải Vaj Hmong là tới xí cho cô là tụm bè phải xong là tiền lấy giờ tiền đi luôn tụ nhẹ đa này rồi phải mua tụ thì thay thế tiền trong tuổi phải thế thì có mà niệm mua bé có giấy cho nên chia trong niệm bận được rồi tới một tuổi rồi thì that's the truth. He didn't see doggy dick. You die like that man right there. They phải chỉ cho chúng ta ăn thua thế gì, đã mất thua thế gì, cho bao giờ dân thì nó mất thua được, lớn như hành giả, coi như tây ở bên du nữa, kill, yep, and that's what happened to them in Laos. Yep. Tóm lọt tây lưng thì nó thọ phải chỉ cho on được, nó mất nên tuổi trong số yep, cho nên ấu ấy trong thì con thằng nó mất tuổi, nó sau tiền, ni mà bé vô cái thế. Bởi vì they knows to own Pama the toilet. And if my dog Pama own the toilet. Same thing with that dog over there. Yeah, that's true. Well, the guy there pilot you both got in the chain, there's a pie. And it was 9 hours of those dying pie. And then the fucking dig didn't see that those are different generation of fucking mutts. And then them are not really full moon. And then 2 hours, look at that. He passed away over there weeping pie. Yeah, he passed away. Thâu nữ đại tua tón dạ mấy tu nhẹ chỉ bông đầu được phải thì dân đâu dùng đi nữa dân đâu dùng đi nữa thì here 253 pi be careful of those evils on the internet pi he says ôi cả mua tên nên tua lên the GS chỉ là chân tới tên này học ít tu nên chỉ bông nên dùng này sau một tay cho nên tua dùng lên nữa học cho nên bên muốn giết tua là bao là tua khâu là nhau này cho thân tới nhau này cho thân tới nên sao thì vẫn nó nãy đến sẽ được bảo yêu chính kiến dùng để chia hai dùng rồi she learned that the hard way 20 minutes into the future those animals are tossed outside at bonders and he learned he learned his fucking son was tossed and then people told him yep go away and he says 4 months in the future by the fucking animal cried in his car. He learned that he was the obvious animal. Animals. Chỉ tại cái cho đi cho khẩu công cả mình xài bên du cả and she has no idea. The paisa, take a look at her face, pai. Nếu không một đại thuộc về Middle East, bên nó bao nhiêu pai lên du mua ý hay tua cha cho nó pai mua all gì mong nhau thì cái tây tu nia chơi ya tu nia tu xe này cú chỉ yoga cú chỉ yoga tu chỉ ya bé tua bao nhiêu sự phải cái sở tài cái chỉ cho lâu cái mất tua tài tu nia đó đi về thái tây là hai lùi phải tu mất cái tu đấy pha mai cái này đấy pha mai áo giang đó tua là ya nông đi lo về cái đấy pha mai nó trả cái nhưng mà lên cái này phải lùi cho nên ấy cho nên tu sa tình hình gì chỉ chỉnh chú tu chỉnh chú lên phải anh cái lo phó tại Pama để trả tu đỡ giờ nhớ là Âu đỡ mất tua là tu đấy lâu nữa người ấy tu ra hết phải là giờ ra hết phải là chỉ nhà hai nữa phải là mất tua thì hết it was 9 years phải thầu có biết kia là để chỉ mua giá trị phải là mua tua ta tu nên để cho nên tua ta sang biểu hiện phải luôn để đây là nó mua chúa chồng biểu hiện population是这样thầu phải biết là như vậy ít bốn billion tu paise he thought you was a joke pai he didn't see you murdered 12 billion of his people 100% with you and then right there in the Middle East they dare Paul do 20 billion for fun y'all gun your fucking people real 2 hours he took off real quick I didn't give a fuck if Bale shows up Bale dies that year that's real 2 idiots didn't believe you pai Ipos passed away, and then 2 other demons go at it passed away. Real, them die as women. And then the best fight scene, right afterwards, the children are warned that you murdered all 5-sided star because you caught him in a dragon sector at Dragon Space Country, in a Cobra Space Country right there. Her brain turned on factual. You hated them, you hated them. Them are nothing but evil, And Paisa. Later on in life, they say there's another man that showed up and Pai murdered him too. Pai didn't like you. Pai didn't like you. Pai, but ta có là có tua ta on in Malaysia là ít tu nhẹ tua là nó sau ít chán tới đâu có hay nên nó hay tiệt. Bên cái là bên thì chỉ có cái có innocence there. We don't need your innocence. Right now, we'll tell you the truth. Innocent isn't you. Y'all good. You is a stupid, broke fucking nothing that came back down to steal God technology and science and elixir and DNA and you failed. That's true. Có giờ ý hại nên khi nhớ dương vì đã có là đâu tên mình tu chữ nhớ là cho khổng lồ những sự cho xe những sự cho bao đoàn trái những sự cho một chỗ nó có chỉ chỉnh chỉ có ý tên nên mình lại chia hours ở đây còn giờ sẽ có một tổ ta có một lời cho nhẹ chỉ phát đại ra tổ na tụ nhẹ phong ra được theo tự là theo cái chân ai tiệt bé đa là liên đầu số phải lấy ý cho nên miệng lo số lấy cho nó theo cho một niệm một chỉ theo lấy giá kia lấy giá kia tao lấy niệm lấy xin lúc tới chơi ra tiệt hết tao cá này nó phong nó theo xa cho một đấy tua cho một đấy nó phải theo tôi cho nên tung cái chơi phải cho tung cái chơi yêu đâu nó phải theo kia theo do liên đầu số này có lúc này tới chơi Singapore nó tụ xe chập là here cheers thì here and look at that pie you call them animal York that chỉ lấy họ tin chủ cũng gì nhẹ here có tụ một đấy thái cái mà cũng một tua thế here cũng một tua bao Jesus and right there pie he didn't believe you told kill all that có một tua kia cái đấy tiền tôi chỉ có sự dân ra số tiền đủ là một tua đó gì ý này một đấy hình như một đấy nếu mà thà tụi giờ giờ trong đầu là mất tua kia chỉ nói chỉ cho được tụi mà lấy phone là một tia ha vậy đó cả mình xài tia lấy giờ tia lấy look at that they didn't believe your pie they looked and why was her in a ghoul her kept trying to woo a Chindu god a male god he said what pie said and kept murdering them to the astral yep we not want you we not want you and it was 9 hours pie when you murdered the fucking Malaysians then came back that way too. Same thing with the Permies and Vit. And then 2 hours they saw the Vit that you murdered. He has no more gold crown, but he has a gold uniform. Yeah, y'all could. The phát tại ra phải mất tuổi bị nhá là tây bị là phải. Nếu lúc có một cú chỉ đáng cả là đó. Nếu chỉ cho cú chỉ nhân đời thằng cái sĩ做单，你只cho cú chỉ nhân đời là đó,不然你一度发tại ra phải mất tuổi bao nhiêu thì đây à. Vì 我真家呀。ก็เจ้าตัวไปเสียงแรงภายเลยหล่อก็มดตัวซึ่งอะไรมองตรงกันแต่ก็ตัวมองอะไรมองเท่ามันก็ตัวที่เฮ้ยมองตัวว่าเท่ามันก็ตัวเตี้ยเฮ้ยมองตัวว่าจะพ่อไอ้ร่างนั้นกี่หล่อนะจะไอ้ข้าศึกนั้นนะจะพ่อนั้นกี่หล่อนั้นมั่วจะนึ่งนั้นตัวไปสมองอย่างตัวไปสมองเลยแต่ไปเนี่ยยก็ไปยภายเลยซึ่งภายเลยไปจะเนี่ยcho nên nông thôn cái đá cả bị lúc tết chờ mà lấy bị đá mua luôn tết chờ nó lấy qua mong ăn qua đây là chúng ta đã cho nó tu bị pha ma tết chờ đẻ hết đó họ để số cho giờ nó xin đầu cái xin chạy đá thì đá luôn đi cho nó là chia cho nó chia mua phải tết đá có thì phải nó mà nó tuổi phải nó chỉ nhẹ cái phải nó chỉ nhẹ cái phải lấy yêu là phải lấy cho đỡ tới cho phom rồi nó lấy cho tới chỗ đủ rồi tới đủ rồi một trận có trên được chân chân á tụi bọn nữa cho tới ngay đủ nè khi cho sai lòng nữa đủ tới bị hơi phải là cái có một chuột tiền mình giải mong thấy có sự bên chịu đi đâu it was there in 229 pi lên nó qua bắt ta lên nó qua nó bao tiền được chúng mình một gì ni cho chú đã mua lời tua hiện đã chiang thì nó mất lời tua ở phải tôi cho bên được phải được tu chia tôi đại tua nhớ bé bảo kia that's when he committed suicide that's right when he passed away people laughed that's fine he says in life you're paying cho nên chỉ chính chính là thuộc dầu nè thì vô linh đó con nè sai thì có sợ kia tôi nó còn nói chứ phải chỉ lúc tua kia bé phải bỏ đại tua bé yêu cứ ok bây giờ mình tin lành nhé nhớ nó có cho sự ít mình vừa đã nhau phải thay tê nhớ có mình phải giờ lúc này nè giờ chỉ bông nhẹ nhảy nọ nhẹ giờ sai sử dụng khác giờ bông tự nhiên mình có cho tụ tua bên này đại tua lên đó giờ ít mình tua nhé phải his name is on the internet by his fucking mom put him right on the internet and then he was murdered right over there too trong tua bé yêu cứ nên chỉ chỉnh tiếng nên chỉ chỉnh tiếng nhiều lên đó cái bông đầu cái chuyện nên chỉnh cái nên có cho ai học cái nên chỉ mình phải and then 20 hours by the fucking monster committed suicide in the Alpine nên là có một đại tua kia để bảo vệ người nên tua nó nè and then right there nên là sao để luôn tu pai mà nên luôn you pai mới tua and pai it was there nên đó ý này ông đó tua thọ cái mà tua đó chứ nhá bà mà tua bao nhiêu đó chứ thọ chuyện đó chứ phải gì cái你只有被那排的外压所以那嘛排嘛上那边再多的排只摸弄药个呀只摸弄药个还能这样个的呀个还能这个我们个叫趁着叫火猛了多把这个事都是这样呀什么的
所以呢排咁么做下来多到下周度的上去都有点不多的也不利是
呀能不多不利嘛都是的呀个的等个这都老估计来呀我不可能加把叫垃圾呀 nhớ con này lưu chỉ xả lì bé thì here con này share chỉ xả lì bé thì here empire right when you did it con muốn được tua đã được bảo bao thì họ nữ
nó nữ and then 253 pi nữ chỉ mấy bé ở pi hai tiệt con một tiệt mua all họ nên kia lại ý hai pi con mua hoa hot nó con mua tua here tu nia là mấy bé ni ra mong chỉ hoa lại
chỉ họ là
tiệt here pi là chỉ hoa lại pi là số de kiếm mua cái hai
kiếm một cái hay
phát đại đàn đi là lên chỉ muốn đi
chỉ muốn đi học cơ và ta tụ đã phá mang được mỗi hiện cái là lợi dụng ít bờ là nó phải để cho mua phải chỉ cái học cơ cho mua là nút phải mà tôi sai sẽ có trong bỏ bị tới chờ thay chờ ran được để cho mọi người học cơ and right there you won phải
you won pi tổ có một shit tua bị ra tới chỗ thay là có bỏ bị tua tới có thể hay tiệt đàn được lệnh này nó nhưวันนี้พอนี้ยังnó cho nên một tu đi trả là ní nhóc có từ có chút sai này cho nên tới cái tem bao cái ô what day is it tổ có một sai này cho nên tới nó được pon này chơi đi trả cái tua đã trọ được phải được cho tới bao từ tu đàn nên chơi
so yeah so nếu chỗ là lệnh là phải tụ có tua là cho nên có tua là cho nên trường là tua chỉ trong này là lệnh nói chứ nên là cho lợi phải cho trọ đó
bây giờ cho trọ đó thì ý tụ mong là phải lệnh cho tao được bị trả ní ra mong một lần vì thọ phải sợ kia ta phải bao lâu đã mong lo phát tại đã được tua cho chị mỗi lần lo đó
mỗi lần bùa đó thì
here they are no chỉ trong lo mỗi lần tua bao giờ đó
mỗi trái
thì here
vì mỗi thứ bao lâu đã vô là học cứ phát tại đã vô là đó là chứ hay rồi họ cho nên là cho nên bỏ số là chỉ lấy nhau là chỉ lấy nhau là cho bỏ nữa là để đa phải chứ mỗi bỏ mà chứ ya là giờ tập bỏ là giờ chạy đó họ là giờ phát tại là giờ phát tại đa này học cứ đây một là chỉ kể là mỗi bỏ nữa phải một chỗ thay cho nó phải mua o này cả tiếng đâu có không thể tới tổ
đấy hả phải một tổ bao giờ bây giờ nè đã nó lần có tiền nữa cha có một chú nó và cha có chỉ dùng đi nó chỉ cho lâu rồi nó phải một trận đại thì nên chọn được lại cái thôi
này à phải một phần đó tao hậu nữa họ sẽ tuần này à một chân phải thế đâu có tuần thế mi à yêu phải là tôi khi có một cái bơ là chơi linh đầu是拍几个首歌都是个小拍一
cái chiếc phải gì
and look at that pie she lies to you right there in China she came out cried and said that có yêu tụng mua xa chỗ chuồng này lúc chơi nào lo trong này có trong cầu trâu phanh giữa tận trái cái tía nhọc cơ
yep 70 trillion of saucers gone in 16 seconds real real
yeah phải work it phải bảo khi cái phải cho design này cho design nó chuẩn đầu chỉ trên nó cũng vậy bùa chỉ trên nó cũng vậy vậy dân
nhiều vậy dân có bùa dân có tuần sai đa có nhỏ bé có chơi bé nữ tiệt phải có mà có chỉ trên có chính trai là mỗi tu nhẹ nè đại tua bé thái tây bé bao giờ ni xin du nữa
yeah xin du tiệt lúc họ phiêu lòng thế lúc chỉ là coi cho tưởng cái cho xe here rồi nhiều phát tại Persia chúng ta son rồi phải tụi nhiều tiệt kia ta phải dùng xe
đi here ý tu mi ở dùng nè lúc có cô nè chỉ bao giờ chỉ chân để chỉ ra nó lòng hồi những nhà kia vì lớn chơi cho cùng lâu
này à một chân là tụi kinh做知道了呀một chân phải lớn là họ là cái tiệt kia rồi đa bây giờ chúng ta都做tiệt kia phải lớn là họ mới是phải dùng xe phải đa tụi này前途kinh nghiệm rồi前途nhiều tới hoạt động tới cố cho phải cho đó是去挣钱
要去挣钱的话你找到去挣
呀去挣你讲的那个去点的都今天打那怎么都今天打都多了这样呀phải có tiệt có cho cái今天打这接这一个今天梦个có mua tụ lầu bị tua là ya phải mua tua là
thì
phải để đa có thì có mà nên chạy đi phải mua phải cho microchip đó chứ ya microchip mua thấy nó lâu những gì nên thì cái chơi nó chỉ lưu lại là chỉ lưu lại mình tôi họ mua chỉ lưu những chỉ tua
đấy你要打当咋就你到把路去旅行去多哩
了呀只tua đấy
你去多哩接到哩没都拍có mua mày của chết到哩那样路接到哩哦那人带没事做呢có得包的要你打当咋都拿不了
呀拿不了打当咋
đi rồi kìa đàn số tàu nói ít tụi mình đàn na
ya học cái
ít tụi mình dùng được những chỉ bao nhiêu phải nếu thà có thằng mình cho nó to nó theo bao nhiêu nếu cho đá nếu sẽ đá toàn ra là như tàu nọ không nọ thì đá toàn ra cho bao nhiêu nó cho phá nó một số là cho cô phá bị bao nhiêu về là thế kia
ya ya tăng lại cái shit
đi here 现在就等爱给的这
哎呀，这大的帮你就给的呀，你都拍，
你抓呀，你抓牌，我当你年头那个没白的，搞起不好的你闹就你多的点，
哎呀，你多的点，
你多的你我就过得弄点
哎呀，要个，从头去正经的呀，去正经的，你都那多正经着点呀，如果那种那忙呀的呀，呀，那就那啥。đã tôn rằng là vì nó ra yêu tôi miệng rất chua trong yêu tôi hay chua trong yêu tôi tôi đã là gì có một mối gì đó là phù chụp bao nhiêu chạy đâu chạy lớn đó chẳng đời với giờ số mỏ đâu đã này đã nó đã là chỉ tôi yêu cái cô chạy ăn chạy tụi mình chạy mà lấy sữa phải mà lấy lớn đá này mà lấy là số tiền đá dầu rồi đá tôn rằng nó mua hay mua đá tôn rằng nó đá dầu thì đá dầu dùng để nó bật lông
你用那个dài
呀。我用的在的其中有了么多
这样么多不这，用的就打说den天的不弄这么多这，
这样么多不这，
กู包个真我拍个人的
对呀对咯，都做了要拍个对呢，在都给我拍，我讲你莫话把我的看到其中为你要真的
yeah, by Jundu, and right there, by the kid didn't believe you and committed suicide when your ghouls went and punched them right there in China.
China, yeah, that's true.
Later on in life, they see you playing in southern China, Pai. And then you went into one of the haunted cities and you saw the ghoul there paced together and he shouted, and then you shouted, your ghoul from America appears. And then right there, you're immune.
Yeah, you're immune.
Pai up, you're immune. And right there, Pai's flying around faster than lightning. 2 hours of that, the Jap passed away in his car.
I have.
I saw 3 hours of you cutting open their stupid fucking bullshit queen, and then Pai said, 2 of them came out and told you the truth.
Yeah, that's fine.
He says, have we ever wronged you to the point where you make us extinct?
I not say, I say, we'll see when, yeah, we'll see when,
and then 229 Pai was just it. Because right there, Pai, they saw you with the horn demon, and then they are pissed, they knew it. Your white ancestry demons that claim you and became your family and friends came down to,
yeah, that's real.
yeah, that's real. They appearing on Earth, and right there, 2 hours of you gutting a grandpa in Norway.
That's true.
Yep, somewhere in Europe.
Real,
Yeah, real. Pai fought a lot of those Ukraine because in the end, Pai paid back 3 types of lamb demons, and they're the lucky, yep. And then they get total 50 trillion space stations from Pai.
Yeah, Pi poured it out, Pi's eyeballing like sure
That's true. And right there, those all brand new.
that's all brand new.
Yep, and those are all brand new for he. And he is happy.
Yeah, he's happy, Pi.
But it's not right away.
Yeah, it's not right away, that's true.
And it was very graphic. In the end, he told his dad, Dad, we not broke.
Yeah, we not broke.
And then it was so graphic, Pi. He says, the stupid didn't believe you, Pi. 9 hours later, you caught it in the junkyard and you ended him.
Yeah, Pi ended you. Yeah, that's true.
He says, what is the difference between Pi sectors and those junkyard? The junkyard, the mom has been passed away for 6,000 years, yep. The real eyeball elixir owner that poured it. And then there is 4 others that are missing right there in Malaysia. Right there, when you kept murdering them, the fucking father came out and said, Pi, we not thieves. Pi said, fuck you, you go home then. And then he nodded, yuck, me not kill you then.
That's true.
And later on in life, Pi came back and Pi killed him.
That's true.
That's true. Because Pi assaulted Malaysia again.
That's real. Yeah, that's real. Yes, we do. Pi did that to them again. Because the motherfucking spirits are not nice.
Yeah, they're not nice, Pi. Because they're very intelligent spirits. What they were trying to do was steal DNA and recreate a certain type of genome structure and a certain type of device, and then re-up a certain type of king from their people.
Yeah, from their people. That's true. Pi not allow that to occur. That's true.
That's true.
Because then Pi will be in trouble. Because he's as smart as Pi. As soon as he's full function like Pi, he'll fly around, gut things too.
Yeah, he'll fly around, kill things, and rob people. And right there, Pi, that fucking little bitch took off in China.
Yeah, took off in China.
It was there that she came out of her saucer, and Pi shouted, "Who's you?" And Pi pulled out the green sword, and it flies towards you. Yep, you caught it up.
Yeah, Pi cut it up. That's true. Pi swung. Pi didn't care.
Yeah, Pi didn't care. And then later on, Pi wrote, because I'm a king cobra.
Y'all good.
The dumbass didn't believe you, Pi. 2 hours later, the hawk put it in an area and shouted your name, you appear.
Pi, yes, that's true.
That's true, because they summon
Pi,
Pi.
yeah, they summon Pi. And the Pi lands in the country, Pi finds the room and the location, the Pi, and you, that's true. Because technically, is you a citizen? No. You as a refugee that broke the laws and norms, that is really prisoner of war and prisoners of Thai Dragon Cobras. That's true. They never wrote that you was a full citizen. They wrote that you was an evil fucking humanoid immortal that theft and gained technology, and they are planning to rob you legally, so they put you in the space country there. That's what they wrote in Asian God language real. That's why Pi looked at your fucking the fucking detail on your fucking Chinese people, all fucking dirt big pirates. That's real. 2 fucking hours, but he cried on the fucking news, and he said the real fucking Cobra government is Pi. That's true.
That's true. They laughed their fucking heads off. They wrote, wow, all that theatrical good and it's all for showbiz.
That's true.
That's true. Reality, what you is a foreigner that Pi's dragon people didn't really accept, but that dragon Thai kept there, and he kept fucking your woman and making fun of them.
That's true.
And so we thought maybe he'd breed one, and then Pi flew around it, and then Pi cut open a few, and Pi said no, Pi didn't like it.
Yeah, Pi didn't like it.
Pi bred with their humans on Earth. Their humans are tiger remakes.
Yeah, tiger remakes.
Yep, their tigers are from Singapore. Yeah, the Hanfu are remakes, and so they're not real Chinese goddess.
Yep.
Chinese goddess. Pi looked at Newt's horrifying video from the prophet, because Pi murdered the prophet in the Book of Law. That's real. Pi looked at his data, and then your real mom, they're my shameless bitches, been used up by 11. Pi saw their real pigeon tone pronunciation and the way their nervous system, their spinal cord and their nervous system and the brain tissue, it heals in a certain pattern.
Yeah, a certain pattern in the nervous system, and you is not healing that way.
Yeah, you is not healing that way, because you is a clone from the Hanfu Chinese tiger, the Hanfu tiger demons from China.
That's true.
Yep, you was a knockoff from the original. And then Pi never told Pi's women they're knockoffs.
Only that's true.
I found a few that is part mutt from those that are from the Viper Chinese tigers. Those are what people were talking about. Rare, yeah, shorter arms. And right there, my best fight, seeing him, knew it. He's not even real Chinese. He's a clone.
Yeah, he's a clone.
That's why Pi laughed Pi's fucking head off. Pi cut the fucking real stuff up, and Pi wrote, that is your real fucking genetic code, woman. Pi even though you're not they. Yeah, they're a lot smarter. Yeah, they're a lot smarter. And they heal like white gods. Yeah, they heal like the real white woman goddess. They heal in the spinal cord and their nervous system to the spinal cord to the neck area. They heal that way.
Yeah, they heal that way.
Demon people like Pi, they heal differently.
Yeah, yep, good.
Yep, you heal from the nose.
Yeah, Pi heal from the small bones.
Yep, that's true. But higher upgradability.
That's true.
Yep, and you'll never collapse.
Yeah, that's true.
The dumbass didn't believe you, Pi. 2 hours, he committed suicide right there. He said, damn it. Now we know why our parents fail. There's been a Goetti demon that edited the DNA to the point where it learned something, Pi, that your nation not full of.
Yeah, that's true.
It was you, Pi, that destroyed 2 fucking weird fucking clones in China. You took their woman and then you converted it into a dragon form, a demonic dragon form. And then Pi wrote, stupid human, only immortal, Yoku. And then Pi wrote, not God anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Because them been cursed by Pi. And then the dumbass didn't see. 3 hours of you cutting open their fucking human god. You went in there, and that was the champion that used the UFO gun ray on you, and Pi laughed. He actually beamed it down when you were in China, Pi. You were gutting the remaining immortals and fucking children. And then he used it on you for 4 hours by near 13 minutes.
Yeah, 13 minutes.
Yep.
Told you, Finkel, Bimbo.
He used it on you for 13 minutes and he took off. And then Pi, I saw 12 hours of your head paste back together, your insides, and then your bones and your muscle tissue. And then you're flying around shouting. And you're flying around and then you're hush, Pi, you're hush. Your insides are pasting together.